So we purchased a home that was older. It was built in the 80s, and there was one occupant there who was elderly. So the home basically, it had some minor updating, but really it needed a lot of work. We were excited about that, but we wanted to do things in phases. So when we first bought it, we rehabbed the master bathroom because that was essential. And then we kind of put off the remaining projects until later in the year, until after we lived there for a while. And we kind of had a better sense of, the flow of things and, what made sense to work on. We did. We compared a few different contractors. The one that worked for us initially when we purchased the home, we reached out to him. As luck would have it, had a project that we were working on with Lowe's to replace our front door, and the customer service rep actually gave me Eric's contact information to help us get our front door installed. And then through that project and talking about, the progress that we wanted to make in the house and kind of some ideas that we had, we were able to collaborate with him really well. So I felt like he was the perfect person. He was just so resourceful and full of ideas, and suggestive ideas that kind of meshed with my thinking, and also he kind of like elevated the project a little. He just had such a creative mind. It was pretty extensive. We gutted our whole kitchen, new cabinets, new countertops, new sink. We moved our island, relocated our refrigerator. And then there was a hallway there that connected to a laundry room and then a half bathroom, and then it wrapped around over into a great room. I think we actually did 4 rooms plus the hallway. And we also did a lot of lighting because the house did not have like the can lights in the ceiling. It was a little bit darker. So he kind of touched a couple other rooms as well. It was pretty extensive. It was nice. The hard part was not having access to your kitchen. So we actually had to cook like on a little burner oven, and we put that on our patio. It was just like pretty much like a disaster zone, if I'm being perfectly honest. But that's what we expected. And
Right.
so, that's the hard part of any kind of remodel, but it was so worth it. The finished result was just beautiful. Like you said, it just elevated my ideas, and it came out better than what I had imagined. Definitely. It just made it look very cohesive. And that's what I really liked about Eric was, we took the same granite that we used in the kitchen, and we had countertops, we had the island, and then we had like a built-in little cabinet area. Then we also used that in the half bathroom. Then we also used that in the game room bar. And so it just looked, like something out of a magazine. It just was really, really pretty. We did. In fact, my husband at the time was working. Some of his coworkers were asking him about our project. So Eric worked on several other projects through references that we gave and word of mouth. I wish he was here with us in Ohio now because we built a new house, but there's always things that you want to add in later once you're established, and he would have been great to work with again.